All right. Hey, what's going on? It's Doug Cunnington here, and we're going to talk about journaling today, a little bit for self-improvement and for productivity. Please let me know in the chat if you could hear me well. Today we are doing vertical format to hopefully get on YouTube Shorts. I don't know if I have to do anything special, like have a bunch of viewers that like and interact in the chat and all that stuff, but hopefully it'll work. I do have a little bit of a special setup today, so I'll show you that really quick here. In that, I have my little overhead camera right here, so I'll be able to show you some stuff here. I may need to adjust the lighting a little bit. I often have trouble with this webcam that I set up over here as far as the brightness is concerned, but we'll do our best. The other thing is I was going to share my screen some with this sort of real estate in the vertical format. It's a little tougher, but I was having an issue with actually like sharing the screen that I was trying to share. And if it doesn't work, then I'll skip it. I'll just do my best to describe things as it applies, but I'll just double check really quick to see maybe if it works. I tested it before and it was fine. And then whenever you go live, things change. So we'll do our best. Appreciate it. We have Paula. All right, Paula, how's it going today? Hope everything's well with you. So I'm going to get rid of this little portion. And then we're back here. Big. If you're viewing on your phone, which most people do, this should be a favorable format, hopefully. And unfortunately, yeah, it's not working how it's supposed to. So ideally, you would just see the screen here, not what you are seeing. I only want you to see the application window. I guess the one thing I can do is just try to zoom in really close. And that can maybe work. And then I would potentially pop my own little myself right here. Okay, this could kind of work. Not ideal, all right? But it could work in a pinch. So we'll pop back here to the normal full size here. So we are going to talk journaling. I'm going to talk a little bit about bullet journaling because that is a nice format if you are interested in productivity. But really, journaling can be many different things. It could be about, productivity. It could help reduce anxiety, for example. And, just kind of have a self-improvement is the other thing I put in the title. I mean, I did keyword research, folks. So it's about that self-improvement part. And that could be, something more intellectual. It could be physical. I keep a journal. Although if I'm honest, I haven't been bringing my workout journal to the gym, but like if you record, what you're lifting, how many reps, the date, you can like track your progress, which is one of the cool things with journaling. But that said, another reason I journal and have journaled in the past is just to remember things, because it's very easy to start forgetting things, routine things, like the day-to-day stuff going on as I'm advancing rapidly in age. And I think there's some older folks out in the audience too, and some younger folks. But when you start getting old like me, things just run together. And then that's in a normal routine kind of thing. And then, days blend together. But even when you're on vacation, when things are novel, a lot of times you'll forget something from the beginning of the vacation by the time you head home. And in fact, this journal here, I journaled every day when I was on my trip to Alaska, and I went with my parents. It was before my mom passed away a few years ago. So really cool that I journaled every day talked about the places we went. Of course, I have like video and pictures, so I can like cross-reference and be like, oh yeah, I remember going to, there was some Canadian town in, I think, Yukon or British Columbia. It had like a frog in the name, but I wrote down where we were, and I, just thinking about the lake that we stopped at, and there was a cool like gift shop, diner, gas station that we went to, and I remember walking my dog and another little side trip right around there, and it's all in here. I wrote it down, and the thing is, I would freaking forget it because it was several years ago, and I was basically on the trip for 6 weeks. So surely by the end, I forgot some of the day-to-day stuff in the very beginning. So we'll talk a little bit about the techniques, the things that I do. I have several journals, like a little pocket thing like this, very small, maybe like the more standard. I think this is like an A5 size, moleskin. This is some other journal by a company, True Red. And I think I bought this one at Staples because it was on sale, as was this one here. Also, I believe the same brand, but maybe not. Yeah, True Red as well. And the thing is, like, this journal was on sale for like $3, and like this one was like $4. And while the format of this one is a little wider, I was like, it's pretty cheap. I will buy it. I'm a sucker for a deal. I often buy stuff even if I don't necessarily need it. If it is a good deal, don't do that, people. I'm trying to get out of that habit myself. The thing is with a journal, I'm like, I know I'm going to write in it. Even if I'm inconsistent, I will, write in journals all the time. Here's another one here, and you'll see the date. Speaking of like off and on, if this focuses for me. Okay. 2019 and 2024. Like I literally started journaling in this one and then stopped, moved to a different one or whatever. I'm not sure. And then started again at the end of last year, and it like skips around and there's random stuff in here. So a lot of different formats. Couple key things that I do look for. I do like thicker paper as often as possible. I'm going to go ahead and do some of this overhead camera action here. And I'll put myself at the bottom. I think this will work fine. So this is one of the small journals right here. And you can see, this fits in your pocket. This is a pretty thin paper. I'm pretty sure I got this exact journal at a conference. And you can see, it's sewn together here in the middle. Pretty thin paper overall, but it's fine. It's sort of a play off of the moleskin or field notes. And the thing is, I don't care about the brands. I think, if you do get moleskin or you get field notes, it's probably going to be like a little higher quality on the paper, a little higher quality on maybe the print. Like field notes, I mean, they're fairly expensive, but they, maybe they'll have like a national park on the outside, which I like national parks and all that. But you could also just get your own stickers. Like this is actually a sticker that I created with my own little face on there, my friend Carl, and then other stickers there as well. But, funny enough, I got a pile of stickers on my desk. So you could, just get whichever ones pop up. I really like these kind of designs like that. But you can get other stickers as a receipt. I obviously just have a pile of trash here. Busted on that one. But there's like breweries and other places, and just when we go on vacation, I will often buy a sticker. All right, you can see my water bottle here. It's filled up with stickers. I run out of real estate, so a journal is a nice place to put it. So we do have the tiny one. I carry one in my pocket all the time, and sometimes I use it all the time. Sometimes I'm away from it. And I carry it in my pocket, and I don't really write in it that often, and it's not that big of a deal. So like I do it when I feel like it. So this is, again, sort of the standard moleskin size. And this one happens to be lined. And you can see, I wrote the date, day 1. And so this is a moleskin, and it is lined, and it's not the thickest kind of paper. So it actually like bleeds through when I use a Pilot G2. And in that case, I just write on one side. If you get the thicker, like sketchbook style paper where it's blank, and I don't know the weight of the paper, but it's quite thick. And basically, I can write with sometimes like a permanent marker, or like the Pilot G2, which is like a pen that I really like. They're rather inexpensive. Like if you go to Sam's or Costco, like you can get, 20, I don't know how much it is, like $20 or 20 of them for like $15 or 16. If you get it at like a Walmart or a more normal store, you may be paying about $1 each. If you get an exotic color, you might end up paying more like $1.50 each. But if you buy them in bulk, you should get a pretty decent deal overall. So yeah, the moleskin, they are fine. Sometimes you'll get one with like a fabric cover like this one. A lot of times they're just colored, and that's totally fine. Like I said, moleskin, but I'm not a snob about the brand at all. You can get whatever you want. Some of the cheaper ones, you can get at Walmart. So this one is a little bit larger. So you can see the normal A5. I got a bigger one here. And again, I put stickers on it. It's a bit of a soft cover here. This is a grid format, and I sometimes I've moved over to some other pens here recently. These are Bic Velocity, purchased at Sam's. I think they're pretty cheap. They're ballpoint. And one reason why I picked them up is because it won't bleed through as much. And actually, I use them to write notes in like books, just like normal print books. So one thing that's sort of signature for a bullet journal is page numbers. And the couple notebooks that I just showed you, they did not have page numbers. And that's a easily solvable thing by writing the page number in it yourself. You could letter it, you could number it by 0.5, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter at all, as long as there's some indication of like where things are. And you'll see here, this is just an index, and you write the page number and the topic, and you could do whatever you want. But that is one of the key things. So, Paula mentions like, sometimes things are similar to like a junk journal, like these little tiny ones here where I just write whatever. Sometimes I write a to-do list. Sometimes I write random thoughts. If I'm on vacation, I'm not bringing a bigger journal. Maybe I'll like write some thoughts down through there, and, it works that way. This, the index, like the issue, if you do not have an index, is you'll write stuff down and you're like, all right, I'm going to plan some stuff out. And then, let's say you journal every day. Then you have hundreds of pages to go through, and you can't find the thing that you're looking for. So if you do have an index, then you can reference whatever you're journaling. This is especially important if you're, doing like a brain dump situation. And back when I was busier, let's say I had my full-time job, and then I was starting my online business, and I was really, I was busy. I was working a lot of hours. And in that case, you get overwhelmed. And one thing you can do is just have a brain dump where you write down everything that you're worried about. And often what happens is you realize that it's not so bad. You get the things out of your head and they're written down, and now you can like move forward with things. Extremely helpful. So one thing, I see we got a few people on. What's up, Kent? Good to see you on. If you journal or if you have a specific style of journaling, let me know. Or if you tried journaling and then it didn't work out for you or whatever, let me know that too. And I'm not saying everyone needs to journal. Currently, I'm not journaling all that much myself. I am trying to do a little bit more, but I'm okay with the amount of journaling that I am doing. So a couple quick notes. So the index is good, and you can see I just write the numbers down here, and you could just write down what you need to write down and go from there. If you get a true red like this, I think this one has page numbers in here. Yeah, so this one has page numbers. It's a little bit more of a planner kind of thing. So you'll see there's you could time block. So some journals have a better organization overall. So you can time block over here, 9 through 5. It looks like 30-minute increments. There's also just a spot for the date, and there's page numbers here. So all the key things that you need to have. They also give you some guides on how to, take notes and stuff. The other thing with these, it's somewhere in here. I think there's a label right here. So this is a sticker, and you can write the date and the time and all that stuff and put it on the side here. So if you have a bunch of these journals, they're trying to get you hooked into the brand and all that stuff, then you could put them on your shelf, and then you know what's in there, the topic area, the date, anything like that. Or if you're pragmatic and cheap like me, then you can get a piece of masking tape and scribble it on there, and it's all good. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else interesting in here. So yeah, it's lined. I don't usually need lines. I don't want to be confined, but here they try to, they leave you space to use this page to sketch out an idea. So it's just randomly through here, there's different formats. So they try to make it a little universal. And if you like lines, use the lines. If you like the grid, which is a little bit more, it gives you a little bit more structure. Find an open one. Yeah. So the grid, you could use them as lines. If you write big, then you can make your lines bigger. A lot of bullet journal folks or people that are a little more organized, you may have a ruler to draw some straight lines, make you some boxes or whatever. And the grid does give you some structure. I'm good with grid or blank. Lines are least favorite. A lot of times I end up with lined journals, but overall I really don't give a shit. So I'll show you one more journal here, which again, this comes from Staples. This one's even bigger here. I'll hold it here so that you can see how large it is. It's actually, it's pretty big. It's probably that might be 9 by 11, not 8 by 11. It's a little wider than you might think. And I think I actually can zoom out just a little bit here. And, this one has this nice elastic thing. There's also space here, which you can see with the elastic. So you can actually put your pen right in here, which is quite convenient. So you could put your pen in here, and then it slides and it stays in there, and it's not going to fall out very easily. So that's kind of cool. That is fun. It is big though. So this is a big one. And if we open it up here to the index, you'll see I actually used a lot. This was the notebook that I picked up at Staples, and I put in information about Ranking Revolution, the podcast that I started and then quit all in 1 year. And this is a, similar, situation with just kind of random thoughts. Some are much more structured, but because I was writing down show ideas plus the overall premise and my thoughts about the show, I was keeping a very good index. So this is one of the most populated indices that I have, because basically every page that I wrote, I immediately went back and put it in the index so I could go back and find it. I put show ideas, I put notes and outlines. I also put brain dumps. You'll see I wrote brain dump here. And basically those were times where I was like, I have an idea, but I'm not exactly sure, like start to finish, how this is going to play out. So I would brain dump / write pros and cons. And if this happens, then I will do this. If this other thing happens, then I will do that. One other cool thing you could do is, like, from one section to another. This is an obvious thing, but you may not think of it. So let's say I have this idea for a show and I run out of room or something like that. Or maybe actually, let's say I have this idea and then I'm like, I'm going to come back to it. And then I hop back in and I start writing a little bit more. And I'm like, you know what? This actually related to 2 other things. I'm going to go ahead and put like a data point, which think of it like a hyperlink, right? This is like the internet except on paper. So I could write a page number and a topic and be like, this is something similar and related, and I want to continue over there. You could have a couple of those. So it can serve kind of like a jump off point. So it's like information is here, but I want to abstract it up one level or down one level or whatever. So you write it here and then you could continue on, skip ahead 45 pages and then write a novel over there, whatever you want to do. But the point is you could link from one section to another and or have like a sub index here. Of course, you could put it in the front and note how you were doing that. But basically you can have jumping off points where, like, a lot of times we don't necessarily think of that. So I'm going to turn the journal down like this for a second and put the pens that I use, and I'll talk about those just a little bit, because part of this, I don't know, I like stuff, and part of it is the journals. You see, I just showed you several journals. So when I walk through a store, a bookstore, stationery store, I'll take a look at the journals and I like them. It's fun. I have too many now, so I stopped doing that, by the way. But Paula says this: I go back and forth. Sometimes I just scribble on paper, calendars, like a daily planner. And other times I keep a journal for a bit of time, mostly a brain dump, task list, and future projects. I think I'm very similar with that. Exactly, Paula. That is exactly what I do. Sometimes I'm on it. Sometimes I'm off it. And it's fine. So let's talk pens. I really like the Pilot G2. Like I said, they are easily obtainable at regular discount stores, big box stores, drug stores, whatever. If you're on a trip to Alaska and I drop my pen, there's a good chance I could just go to a normal drugstore and find the pen that I'm used to, and it's great. Sometimes I get into like a specific kind of product or whatever. There's guitars behind me. Guitars are cool, right? But with the pens here, I didn't go like the premium route. These are fine. These are fine pens. They're gel. So, you know, I mentioned keeping notes in the margin of like a print book. Like these will often bleed through. It bleeds through non-thick pages. So that's like the one flaw, but they do write very smoothly, and I enjoy that. They're not expensive. You can get them everywhere. And the thing that I don't want is if I'm like, all right, let's say I got into expensive, let's say fountain pens. Some people like fountain pens, right? if I got like a fountain pen that I really liked, and it was kind of a premium situation, and I really liked it, and that is what I journaled with, and then something happens to it, and then I'm like, oh no, I've lost my precious fountain pen. And I need to get another one. And I don't want that situation. I want like a commodity, like an easy thing to get. These are a little nicer than some just standard pen that like a hotel is giving away. So these are a little nicer. That said, when I realized I was going to start keeping notes in books and stuff, I was like, you know what, a ballpoint pen, it is not going to bleed through as much. So I was at Sam's, and I'm realizing some of these are different. How did I end up with that? Well, one says Velocity, one says Atlantis, and the other one doesn't say anything. I thought I bought them all in the same pack, so I'm not 100% sure where these came from. They're all Bic, though, and they're all ballpoint, so they actually have a pretty thick, width, I guess. So I'll just scribble here. So this is the blue one, and the black one is here. And these are just cheap, right? These are just cheap. These are cheaper than the Pilot gel. And I do like to have different colors, especially if I'm keeping notes in a book, the red or blue. They kind of jump off the page a little bit more. But you can see they write smoothly. They're cheap. I don't care about them. If it falls apart or whatever, it doesn't matter. When I bought them, I got like 20 or 30 of them, and I don't care about them that much. And that's fine. Again, I don't want it to be too precious or anything like that. And I like these, but I don't care that much. And I think I had at one point I was like, maybe I'll write with a pencil every now and then. And I actually got like a pencil made of wood, if people remember wood pencils from the yesteryears. Number 2 pencil. And this one is a triangularly shaped, so it doesn't roll off the desk. It turns out I don't like wooden pencils that much. I got it, and I was like, maybe I'll write with it a little bit more. But typically, I like a mechanical pencil. And then I do like the feel of this. It's matte black paint. But I don't like the way it writes very much. So, swing and a miss. It only cost a few bucks. Like I said, I like stuff. And sometimes I get stuff for no good reason. So, those are the pieces of hardware you might use. And I talked about a bunch of different journals, but kind of the go-to, and I'm going to try to share my screen here. Maybe I'll go away. Let me get rid of this one. And then I'm going to try to show you this. And that's good enough. All right, so I went to Amazon. There's links in the description if you want to check out this kind of thing. No pressure. But if you just Google bullet journal, you will find like the official bullet journal. Which, friends, like you might gather, it is unnecessary. You don't need to have, here, I'll move this down. You don't need to have the signature 204 pages. It's a medium A5, it hits all the marks. The thing is, it does have thick paper, 120 grams per square meter. I don't know. Is that right? Square meter? Probably. There's also a book, but the thing is, you don't need all of that. In fact, I'll tell you some of the bullet journal methodology. What you will find, here's a product lesson real quick here. So I was like, you know what? I'll give bullet journal a shout out because, it's fucking solid branding. All right, let me zoom out here so you can actually see. But bullet journal. They did a really good job, like marketing this, and then they came up with products. And I'm pretty sure like you used to be able to go to Bullet Journal, and then there'd be like a, I don't know, like a really short guide here. However, because they're really good, they have a free course. So learn how to write a better life, bullet journal, blah, blah, blah. So they have these courses and stuff, and there might be like some information, but like when you click here, it's a little more, it's not like they're like, hey, we want to give you a course and all this other stuff. They want to sell you stuff. It's cool. They're trying to sell stuff, you know, that's fine. However, I went to ChatGPT and I was like, hey, what's like the shortest guide, super short guide to bullet journaling? And get a notebook, whatever, it doesn't matter. A grid or dotted is fantastic. Set up an index, set up a future log, a monthly log, and then a daily log. So the future log is often by the month. So, you know, you get your journal out and you make a little calendar in there. And if you're curious about how to take this overboard, you can go to YouTube and you'll see many people set up their bullet journal. Some are quite beautiful, and they will discourage you because they'll do a fantastic job and it'll look really good. There's some fantastic artists and just people with great penmanship and graphic know-how. And I don't have that. Mine are a mess. All right. So one thing to take away is like you can go watch some really cool YouTube videos and they look awesome, and yours is not going to look like that unless you're an artist. So usually yours is going to look a little bit more like this, which is like scribbles of a mad person and just kind of, yeah, I mean, it's rough. It's rough looking. So it's usable, right? The journal is for you. It's not for anyone else. So just remember, it's just for you. So the future log is typically by the month, and you put it all sort of together. Actually, future log, there's different formats now that I'm remembering. So the monthly log is like the month where you draw the grid, and you know you can basically do like a year at a glance kind of situation. The future log might just be a list of things that you will do. It's a big picture yearly overview. The monthly log is more like the snapshot of the month ahead, now that I'm reading the actual results from ChatGPT. And then the daily log is tasks, notes, and events for each day. So one of the biggest things that I got out of bullet journaling is the format. And that is using a dot to write out your task. When the task is completed, you exit out. If you are moving it to another day, you do like a little arrow. And if you want to have a note, it's a dash. And then if it's an event, it's like a little O, like a bubble. And you could make up other stuff if you want to. And what I'll do, because I do use that sort of notation for my journaling. So hopefully I could find one in this book, and then I'll show you exactly what it looks like and make sure there's no critical information in here. All right, I think I can do it. So let me switch over. All right, that's not working. Let me try again. I'm here. Now we could do this one. Perfect. So as you can see here, I have dots. And then if I did them, I put an X through it. And if I wanted to move it to the next day, I just made the little arrow thing. So very straightforward, very simple to use. You can see I didn't cross all of them out, and I'm a horrible bullet journaler because I didn't do everything there, but I did a lot. And a lot of times what happens is I probably looked at that one and then moved on to the next day, or maybe I went on vacation and never looked at it again. That happens sometimes as well. Like I said, I'm not too strict about it. So one of the ways that you can make this work really well, it goes back to the log and these sections right here. So it's all about these, okay? This is the part that people fuck up on. This is the part that I did really well on as I was finishing my corporate career before I got laid off, and then as I grew my business. This is the piece that matters so much. And I'm going to scoop myself down here, and then I'll scoot this up here. I think it might be easier for some people to read up there, and I'll just make myself bigger down here. All right. So the future log can be, maybe you do it by the quarter or something like that. And you just you go to the front of your book and you're just like writing out all this stuff that's coming up for the whole year or the next 18 months or whatever you want, right? Big picture overview of the big events going on. And then as you're planning out your year, and you can start this anytime, you can start it at any point in time, then you put your monthly view in there where you have the 1 month view, and it's like, okay, I'm going to talk about January. Okay, the stuff that I've already done, pretend like it's not happened yet. I'll call it March, but this was January. Okay. So I would have like March written there, and then I'm like, all right, we're going to go to Estes Park. That's one big thing. Or I'm going to go to Breckenridge. I also went to Breckenridge with some friends. I had a couple other things that I wanted to work on, like some music. I played some music with a friend of mine. I played guitar. He played drums, and we kind of just jam. And I'm not good. I think he's pretty good, but I'm not a drummer. So whatever he's doing, I can't do it. And the thing is, there's some stuff that I wanted to work on. So maybe I write down a couple songs that I want to learn and that sort of thing. So I'm writing down these sort of bigger things that are going to happen. And that's what I'm aiming for that particular month. And I do that for each month as much as I can plan. Of course, if it's a month coming up like March, I have a pretty solid handle on what's going to happen. If you're thinking about, say November, I may not have many plans. I got Thanksgiving on there, but nothing else is going on. I don't have anything planned out there. As the year goes on, I know that there's a concert coming up, or there's a show I'm going to go to, or there's some travel coming up, or people are going to come and visit me. And you add those in. Then you have a pretty good handle on your overall year and then your month. So you're going from like long time frame, shorter time frame. We're about to go shorter. So one thing you can also do, and it's not listed here, is a weekly view. So each Sunday night, maybe you look at your overall, year, and you look at your month coming up, and then the week coming up, and you're like, okay, because of this stuff that I want to get done in Q1, I need to be working on this stuff on this month, and I need to start doing this part in a specific week. So essentially you're breaking down bigger projects into smaller pieces by week. And then obviously we go down to the day. And this is where like you're starting large and you're working your way down to a smaller amount of work until it's really like 60 minute to whatever, 1 hour to 4 hour blocks or whatever. So you can plan out your week and you have a better handle on what you're going to be doing and what you can do on that week and on that day. So on Sunday night or whenever your week starts, you look at what's coming up and you understand each day, like, do I have dinner plans and I actually can't do anything after a certain time of day or a certain time on that day, so you can only get a certain amount done? Or you're like, oh, I have to do these normal things that we have to do, like get your license renewed, or you have to get your emissions done on your car or something like that. So you have to pencil that in as well. So you have all your tasks, you have the events coming up. If you have a doctor's appointment or you have to give someone a ride or whatever, you have it there. Or if you are going to need a ride from the airport, you see that coming up in a week or two, then you plan on asking someone for a ride or arranging for an Uber or whatever you need to do. So start with the whole year, and then you work your way down to individual days. And as many of you know that have watched these before, if you don't do sort of a daily plan and to-do list, then you won't know how horrible you are in estimating time and how long stuff takes. We're very bad at it. So you'll write down probably 50% more than what you can accomplish, and you'll feel disappointed, but you'll get better. So what happens is you actually get over to the little arrow thing, and you move a task to a different day. And the more you do this, the more accurate you become with your estimates, because as I mentioned, you will be awful at estimating your time, and you're going to get like half as much done as you think. It's horrible. And we're bad at it. We often assume that things are going to go well and they're going to go right, and they usually don't. So that is kind of the bullet journal approach. And the main thing that I do is just the bullet points and the little symbols here. Like this is what I liked overall. And occasionally, like, not as strict, but with more so like trip planning, actually. Like my wife and I will go through some of these plans. So we're like, okay, we have this trip plan, that trip plan. We think it's going to be about this long, and maybe we'll do this other thing, but we're not sure. So we'll do that kind of stuff. It's usually around vacation, trip planning, and that kind of stuff. So quite useful. I want to show you, the bullet journal, like the real deal. Let me adjust my little screen here. So the real deal bullet journal is fine. It's probably like some of the highest quality overall. And I think, if you really dig the concept and you're like, I want to support writer Carol, who I think he was like a normal graphic designer dude, came up with a method, talked about it some, and like people loved it. So there's a book there. You can check it out. I'm pretty sure Writer and most of the early folks, they used this notebook here. So I believe it is German. So I should actually get my wife to come over here and tell us about it. But I think that's the Lecterm 1917. And it is numbered. That's the key thing. It's numbered. They have many, many different colors, as you can see here, and patterns. There's a link in the description. You can see 4.8 and 34,000 reviews. I did an interview earlier with Heather Ferris. She's awesome. It'll come out in a few weeks, but I had cough drops down here. I only have one left here. I'm not sure where I put them. I kept coughing. If you listen to the interview in a couple weeks, you'll hear me. We'll have to edit all that stuff out. Hold on, be right back. And it's purely from talking. So these are, rather expensive. The bullet journal official was like 30 some odd dollars. This is 25. Now the thing is, you're probably using this thing for like 6 months or something, depending on how much you journal and all that stuff. But as I mentioned before, like it's really totally up to you. Like a Moleskine is going to cost a little bit cheaper than the bullet journal or the Lecterm. This true red one, essentially it's the same size. It's exactly the same size. It's fine. The paper is very thick on this. It actually feels better. Actually, it's way better than let's see. Yeah, the Moleskine, the paper is really thin. This true red is much better. And I found it on sale. I think the normal price probably would be like $15 or something, but for whatever reason they were liquidating these, and it was like ridiculously cheap. $3-4. Crazy price. And hopping back, so you could look around over on Amazon or wherever, of course. There are links. I linked up to the two that I'm showing here. I would say like you can go and browse around and basically find other comparable, like unknown brands that have numbers, that have thick pages, and you will be pretty happy with it. Often they're rather inexpensive, but at the same time, like you will find cheaper brands that aren't as good, and you're like, these are probably not going to be super great and all that. You can also get some options here. So you have like dotted or plain or ruled or square, like whatever you want. Personally, I do like the plain, and if I'm buying a notebook, a lot of times those will have like thicker, like sketchbook type paper in there, but not always. So I would say if you don't care too much, then you can kind of get whatever, and that's totally fine. If you're like me or like Paula, then maybe you want to be a little bit more like selective about the pen and the paper and all the details. If you're interested in seeing how people set theirs up, there's many beautiful YouTube videos where people set up a bullet journal and they like go through like how they use it, and it looks so awesome. And you can hear other people, there's chatter in the world, right? Where it's just like these artists are putting together their bullet journals, and the thing is like sometimes they make mistakes and they have to like redo it and whatever, or they only show you the most beautiful stuff because they're trying to get views on YouTube or get views on their blog or whatever. But it's cool. It's totally fine if it's just usable. And one of the things that I've done a little bit, I'm trying to remember where it went, but there's a photographer on YouTube that I started watching. He's like an actual pro, like documentarian, and he journals a lot, and he actually makes his own journals where he'll put his own photos and like make it like some blank pages. Some are more like watermarks. Some have like a full image in there, and he just takes notes over them. And basically he'll like put pictures or like make it more like, it's kind of like a scrapbook. And I thought I did it in this specific journal. I'm almost certain that I did, but I can't find it now, where like I like pasted in like beer labels and other stuff as I was on trips and took it along for the ride. I put stickers in here, but now I can't find it. I'll just flip through to see I could see anything else in here, which I can't. So anyway, there's this guy. His name's Daniel Milner. I think he's a photographer down in the Santa Fe area, which isn't too far. So next time I go to Santa Fe, I may try to give him a shout. But anyway, the thing is, he treats his journals like a scrapbook. He draws, he writes, he uses the writing for like, short stories, captions of his photos. He seems to be an avid journaler overall. And I liked his approach, especially to like put stickers in there or like beer labels or other stuff like that, where it's just like, I'm bringing a journal with me on my trips to write things down so I don't forget like what I did. And this is more like the, not the productivity side, but more like just journaling my life kind of stuff so I don't forget. And that's where, those little like just scrapbook style things are very interesting. So that wraps it up for today. As we're coming towards the end, keep an eye out for the Tuesday live streams. If you're not on the email list, there's a link in the description. If you want to get any of the journals and help support the channel, I'm an affiliate over on Amazon still, although I don't do too much of that. But if you get one of these journals or others, or you want to get pens and stuff like that, you can head over there, and it is affiliate link. And I get a commission if you do make a purchase. And I think that's it for today. If you're watching the replay later, leave a comment. It helps other people find the video. And thanks, Kent. Thanks, Paula, for popping on. And we'll catch you all on the next one.